See my screen, please.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Um, the topic obviously is introduction to data analysis. So this is the first week, and what I'm going to do is to guide you through what data analysis is in itself. Um, because I think for the most part at the beginning of my journey, I was mostly confused on what I can use data analysis. Yes, it's data analysis, yet it's people say it's the best thing since sliced bread. But like, what exactly can I use it for? How can I be profitable or useful or give value to people? Right. So that is one of the questions we'll be answering in today's topic. Then also to give you kind of like a guidance on what data analysis is all about, the steps to take when you're analyzing data, the tools you need to know, why this is even important in the first place, and all of that. So my name is Joy Victor. Rashid has already introduced me, so we could just quickly skip this step. So on today's agenda, we'll start with definition of data analysis. Next, we'll go to benefits of data analysis, careers in data analysis, tools and technologies used as well. So now just a quick icebreaker. Have you ever used your phone and you feel like your phone is monitoring you, especially Instagram? You would just think of one thing, okay, it's like I want to buy this thing. Then all of a sudden you are seeing ads, a million and one ads on that particular thing. How many of you has ever happened to? Feel free to unmute your mic and talk. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I experienced that even particularly on this data analytics stuff because I've been online searching for courses like different courses basically on
Yeah.
separate platforms like maybe so later on I notice I'm getting adverts based on the courses on social media handles and others even on other platforms that are not even related to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens a lot. Who else has had a similar experience?
And there was also a time where I bought, I think, was it a sunglass from AliExpress? Not even on those social media. It was on AliExpress. Then after like 2 days,
Okay.
I started getting ads that they recommend that it's going to be in good pairs with that sunglasses.
Oh, nice. Interesting. Interesting. And who else has a similar experience?
Okay, actually, I will just put mine to Spotify or AudioMac. So
Oh, okay.
yes, I listen to some particular musics. So, but it gets now, like right now, even without me searching for them. Once I enter, once I open the app, the next thing is for me to see recommended like musics that they are kind of similar to what I've been listening to for the past maybe
Hmm.
week something. So that's one thing.
Yeah, that's so cool. That is so cool. I'm glad to see that like we all have like personal experiences. I think the only person I haven't heard her voice is Bashira. I don't know. Do you want to say something? So can anybody confirm if she's still on the call, please?
No, I don't think she's online. No.
Oh, okay. Okay then. We'll
She's
just
on the call, but I don't think she can speak right now, maybe.
oh, okay. We'll just move over to the next slide quickly. But I'm glad that we all have personal experiences. Our data is being used, our data is being basically our data has been analyzed to give us special curated experiences. So for example, someone talked about getting glasses on AliExpress and getting recommended other things subsequently, right? Probably because I didn't buy glasses from AliExpress, my own experience would be different, and they shouldn't be showing me ads from his own experience, right? So it's really curated and it's really nice. Sometimes it's none, Okay, there are ethical practices that I feel like a lot of people just avoid, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah, let's just get on with it. So, what is data analysis in itself? Data analysis is basically the process of collecting, cleaning, and processing data to discover insights and also extract actionable information, relevant information that can help businesses or individuals make informed or data driven decisions. So, data analysis is basically like um it's basically like discovering something that probably you wouldn't have seen on a normal circumstance. So let's say they want to dig a borehole now, for example. You you have to dig down and dig down like really, really deep down before you can find water, right? So the same thing with data analysis, basically like you digging deep to discover something that probably but nobody would have seen because like there are boreholes underground and you could be walking literally on top of a borehole where a borehole is drilled, and probably because like they cemented it or something, probably wouldn't know that a borehole was dug there, right? So it's the same thing with data analysis. The information and whatever you need, the hidden secrets basically, is there, but you just can't see it readily sometimes. So that's why you need data analysis to discover it. And this would help individuals make decisions. This would help businesses make decisions, so many things. So for example, on your phone you could easily check wellness, right? Wellness or digital well-being depending on the device that you use, and you can easily see how many hours you spend on your device every day. So you can now find out which apps do you use more. Then somebody might find out that, oh, you spend 1,000,001 years on TikTok, and surprisingly you don't still know how to dance all the TikTok dances. So what are you doing there? um so different things, right? So that's just to show you what data analysis does to both businesses and individuals. With individuals is a lot bigger. You can make decisions. Like somebody talked about Spotify. So Spotify is a big company now that uses data to make decisions. But then there are other smaller companies, right? So smaller companies, maybe let's say like Chicken Republic now, for example, they're collecting data every single purchase that someone comes into the place to make, and then they're discovering, okay, when do they make more sales, when do they not make more sales, and they can also use this data to also discover if one of the employees is stealing, right? So all of this data is basically everywhere and is used for everything. Even your smartwatches basically track your heart rate and can help you determine, okay, is your heart doing well? Should you go and check it? Even your sleep, it helps with monitoring your sleep and stuff. So like data is everywhere, and data analysis is also everywhere. It's just for you to like open your eyes basically and see it, and you find out that like it's everywhere, literally. So why is it important? It's important so that you can identify patterns and trends. Um, Patterns and trends are sometimes hidden a lot. So still using Chicken Republic as an example. If you go to Chicken Republic by 9 a.m., 10 a.m., you won't see a lot of people, right? But then go to Chicken Republic by 12 o'clock, 1. That's rush hour because it's lunchtime. People want to get food to eat, then go back to their offices and stuff. Then same thing from around 6, 7, 8. People are also plenty because people are just come back from work and they want to just get something to eat and stuff. Same thing with weekends, right? Chicken Republic is usually busy on weekends because people want to just come and chill and stuff. So these are trends and patterns that you can notice with Chicken Republic. But it's not the same with every company. Not every company is seasonal. So for example, Spotify, not everybody uses Spotify every day, right? Unless you love streaming music a lot, right? So somebody like me that streams music a lot. So if you're not that kind of person, you probably wouldn't stream music as much. Um, how many of you have noticed that There's one ancient song that the song did not blow before. Nobody even knew what the song was. But all of a sudden, people just start doing the dance on TikTok, and all of a sudden, the song is blowing up again. If you've ever experienced that, you could just say yes, then mention the song if you can remember the song.
Yes.
Okay, which song was that?
This Egungun be careful na express e dey go. It has been
Yeah.
it was actually a lot.
Yeah, that's a good example, right? So this was basically a trend that just popped up. So you can't say the trend was seasonal. It's not like Chicken Republic that you could say, okay, in the afternoon, people are plenty, or in the evening, people are usually plenty. Or on Saturday, you come out on Saturday in Kano, your body, oh God. See, let me not even start complaining about the shaggy I saw this salad period. Because everybody is outside during salad period. All your favorite places are choked up and packed up with people. That normally you wouldn't have like as much people. So these are trends and patterns that you can identify with data. But it's not all the time that these trends are visible for your eyes to see. Right. Sometimes the trends are hidden inside the data and you have to discover it. Which brings to the second point, discovering insights. This analysis also helps you discover insights. So for example, so with discovering insights, here's a quick example we could use. So a new artist pops up and you can easily predict the kind of people that their music would relate to. So for example, let's use Thames. Thames is basically a big girl now. The God that did it for Thames should do it for me. So it's because it just feels like that babe was a nobody. And all of a sudden, she has a Grammy. She has been to the Oscars. She has a BET. She has this award. She has that one. She has that one. She has that one. Like, even people thought that she was going to win her first Grammy with Wizkid. And all of a sudden, it turned out to be like another person that she wins her first Grammy with. Right? Like, almost nobody saw that one coming and stuff. And the person literally didn't even sing with her. He just like sampled her song and stuff. But then she has a Grammy. Baby girl is balling. But then, if you notice closely, you discover that a lot of Nigerians don't vibe with Thames music. Right. So, but then how did she now blow? She get because she's now her music is not the contemporary kind of music that a lot of Nigerians will listen to. You cannot go to the club and be hearing Thames music. Okay, you might do, but like it probably wouldn't be everything that the musicians are playing the entire time. So now we need to discover insights on the kind of demographic that likes Thames music. So what are these people? The type of people that likes Thames music. So you go closer, you analyze the data of her music, because you could also do this with Spotify and analyze people's music. I've done a similar project with Burna Boy. I'll probably list it out later and you can check it out on how to like analyze like music as well. Um so you could discover insights on Thames music, and you find out that the people that listen to her are people that like alter vibes. You have a lot of African Americans that like her song. Um, specific people in the UK also vibe with her music and just her style. And then you also see that there are artists she blends well to, and there are artists she doesn't blend well to as well. So these are insights that you probably wouldn't have seen on a normal day. By the time you like try to discover deeply the type of songs she makes, even basically like the record label that signed her, why did they sign her? It was because she has a certain kind of music that fits into the kind of music that her record label wants to be making. So the third point on why data analysis is important is to make better decisions. So I'm not sure I don't know why I'm mentioning music a lot. Maybe it's because I like music though. But moving on. Um CK basically is very popular, like especially like on TikTok. I think he did Love One Tinty, and then one other song. There was this particular song that blew him up on TikTok, and everybody was listening to his music. He got so many awards and stuff all around the world just for that particular song. But then he came back to Nigeria to sell tickets last year in December, and nobody was buying his tickets. But Ashake's ticket, the cheapest Ashake's ticket last year was 60K, and people bought it. Like the whole the whole thing was sold out and everything. But CK was struggling to sell tickets that weren't even up to 60K. Right. And you see people doing, and they were around like doing discounts on his ticket, until one ticket even came to like 5K. Right. If I'm correct too. But like I knew that the tickets were like crazily cheap, and yet people didn't turn up for his concert. Why? Because his music doesn't really appeal to the Nigerian audience. Right. And it didn't really, in quotes, blow in Nigeria. Right. His stage is more global. There are more people that vibe with him globally than they do here in Nigeria. So if he had properly analyzed his data on the kind of people that listen to his music, he will know that Nigeria is not the place to have his concerts. He would have probably chosen, right, to have his concerts, where a lot more, even though they are white people, they vibe to his music. Right. So basically, data analysis just helps you discover patterns and trends, helps you identify patterns and trends, rather, discover insights and make better decisions. So next, types of data analysis. So there are different types of data analysis, right? But they are just like four major ones, because different people have like what they would describe as different types of data analysis. But then there's four major ones. So the first is descriptive. So descriptive is basically just used to summarize what is in the data already. So you have a data set of let's use Chicken Republic again as an example. So you have a data set that contains all the information about Chicken Republic. It tells you how many customers come on a daily basis, on average. That's like the mean. What time do they come? What time are like our peak hours? What time do we not work? And all of that. So that is descriptive. This is just telling you the information that is already in the data, right? So, but like this data could be an Excel spreadsheet that will have maybe like 1 million rows or 100,000 rows. But then what descriptive does is to just give you a quick summary of it, because I don't want to be scrolling through 100,000 rows on Excel. That's a lot of scrolling to do. So with descriptive, we just tell you, okay, these are our best customers. These are the times people always come here. This is the amount of money we make in a day. These are the best employees, like that, like that, like that. It will probably give you like top 10, top 20, top 5, top 1, like that. That's descriptive. But then diagnostic analysis is used to identify the cause of a particular problem. It involves examining the data to determine the root cause of a particular issue. So say for example, you've done your descriptive analysis, and in week 1, the Chicken Republic at Airport Road makes 100,000 naira. Week 2, they make 700,000 naira. Week 3, they make let's say 800,000 naira. Week 4, they make 700,000 naira again. But then in week 1, they made only 100,000 naira. So when you're doing diagnostic analysis, what happens is you go and find out what the problem was that made Chicken Republic make only 100,000 naira that month. So that you could do deep analysis, you could ask questions and just find out. And then you will now start thinking, okay, what happened? This week 3, week 4, was it during salary period? Is that why we made more money? Or this week 1, is it that we hired a new employee and it's like this employee is a thief, is a barao? Or is it that our POS was faulty? So because our POS was faulty, people are not making transactions. Or is it because when Emefiele said we should not do this, we should not do this, we should not do this, everybody cashless policy, customers were no longer coming? Or it could be something that people didn't even know or notice. There was one customer that kept on coming and coming, and we thought the customer was a good customer, but the person was using fake alerts. So it's with diagnostic analysis that you now get to find out the real problem or the real reason something is behind why a particular thing is happening. So descriptive is basically just to summarize, show you quickly at a glance what's going on. Diagnostic is to find out the root cause of the problem. Then predictive analysis is used to forecast future trends and behaviors based on historical data. It involves using statistical models and machine learning algorithms to identify patterns and predict future outcomes. So with predictive analysis, what happens is like, okay, in the first week, Chicken Republic made 100,000. In the second week, they made 700,000. Third week, 800,000. Fourth week rather, they made 700,000 there. So now, as an analyst, when you're doing predictive analysis, what you have to do will now be, okay, let's see what could happen in week 5. Is it possible that we make more money in week 5 or we make less money in week 5? So if week 3, 4, if week 2, 3, and 4 were during Salah week, definitely in week 5 you make less money because Salah is over now. People are back in their house and Sapa is touching everybody. Or election is coming in week 5, so obviously people are not going to be going outside as much. So what do we? That means we're going to be making less money. So that's what predictive is, just to be able to like, okay, what might happen in the future and how do we prepare for it. Then the fourth and final type of data analysis is prescriptive. So prescriptive analysis is used to provide recommendations on the best course of action to take based on insights obtained from data analysis. It involves using optimization techniques to identify the best solutions to the problem. So still using a Chicken Republic example, I'm already hungry. Still using a Chicken Republic example, we now have Chicken Republic now, and we now know that in week 5 there'll be election. So what do we do? What we can do to make sure that we still earn a good enough amount of money in week 5 is that, so now you now as data analyst, you now be suggesting ideas to the manager. Okay, manager, since people cannot come to Chicken Republic, why don't we start sensitizing people and telling people that they could do delivery? Instead, we have delivery bike guys that could deliver food to people. So instead of people the coming physically into the restaurant, what we could do is that we should take the food to them. So now we're still making an equal amount of money, or we're not making losses and we're still selling our food, right? Or in a situation where you find out that there's a barrel among all the people that you employ, you now prescribe to the you can now prescribe to the manager, okay, let's sack this person because this is not making sense. Or you find out that somebody else, like gave the example I gave earlier, is using fake alerts. Then you can now tell the manager, okay, I think there's a fake alert issue. Should we raise this issue with the bank so that the bank can get this culprit or whoever? Or in a situation where it's your customer service that is bad, all the people in that Chicken Republic are very rude, or the food is not even good. You hired a new caterer and the food, and people don't like the food anymore. The food tastes weird or it's spoiled or something. Ah, God, this heat season is always spoiling food. So now food no longer lasts as long. So you now prescribe to the manager, I think you should get a solar or an inverter for the fridge so that we can store food. Or I think we should do another training for our staff since majority of them are rude. Right. So these are basically the types of data analysis you can do. And majority of people just stop at descriptive, just to give a summary of what is going on in the data. That's not enough. You need to take it a step further. You need to find out if there's a problem and why that problem is occurring. You need to be able to predict what will happen in the future. I need to be able to prescribe to the manager or whoever, or the CEO or HR, whichever, that this is what I feel we can do in the future. So that's what sets you apart. That's what makes you like better than everybody else. So there are a few steps involved in data analysis. Okay. So there are a few steps involved in data analysis. So the first one is defining the question. So defining the question, this usually ranges from anything, literally anything. So if you're working in a, probably tell you what they want, right? So the company could tell you that this product, we're about to launch this new product. Do you think this product will make sales in the market? Or there's a new competitor now with ChatGPT everywhere. Some companies are making drastic losses. So now they will now come to you as an analyst. How do we make sure that we don't keep making losses to ChatGPT? How do we make our program better or our product better? So that's step one. But if you are the one that's working on a data set by yourself, or working on a data case study by yourself, you would be the one to bring up the question. So for example, you're working on a malaria data set. Your questions should be questions like, is malaria still one of the highest killers in the world? And if it is, where? In what places in the world is malaria still affecting people? Right. You could also ask questions like, where is malaria deaths? Where is it more common? Is it more common in pregnant women? Is it more common in infants? Is it more common in adults? So these are the important questions you should ask. So by the time you ask these questions, it will now help you on the next step, which is data collection. If your question is, how many people die with malaria, you shouldn't be collecting data on the biggest producers of malaria medicine, unless there's a way you can relate the two. But malaria medicine producers and the revenue they make every single year from all the malaria cases has no direct correlation with what's it called, with the number of people that die from malaria, right? There's a way you can link it and it will make sense, but it doesn't answer your direct question. Your direct question is, how many people die from malaria? You cannot be going to collect data on how many companies make profits from selling malaria drugs. So the third step is data cleaning. So when you collect data, usually, this is even where the major work is, the data is never clean, ever, 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 ever. If you're collecting a survey, surveys are almost the worst thing said. If you're collecting a survey from people and you ask, how old are you? Simple question. Should you say I'm 23 years old? Good. You see that 23 years old? Somebody will write it in words. 23 years old. Somebody will write it in numbers. 23, 2 and 3. Somebody else will write 23 years old. That's 2 and 3 numbers. They write years old with words. Somebody will now write 23, 2 and 3 with years, WRS. Sorry, YRS instead. So now all these are still like 23 years old. But there are different types of 23. So now it's now you now as the analyst that will now come and do the software head to clean this data. Otherwise, you cannot analyze anything from it. So, and that's where like the majority of the work is. That this is probably where you're going to cry. But don't be discouraged. Tears, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So, yeah, moving on. Step 4 is analyzing the data. So this could also be referred to as exploratory data analysis. So you are basically like looking at the data, finding out what's going on. How many columns do you have? How many rows do you have? What data is quantitative? What is qualitative? Just basically like looking at the kind of data that you have, right? And step 5 is interpreting the results. So now that you finish analyzing the data, how do you interpret the results? So you start thinking, okay, is there a correlation between this and this? Is Do we need to do A/B testing? Do we need to do cohort analysis? Do we need to do segmentation analysis? What do we need to do? Is the company doing well? Is the company not doing well? Are we Is this product going to sell in the market when we launch it, or is this product going to fail? If we make a rebranding for this company, do you think this company will make progress, or they will still suffer the same losses that they are suffering? So then you now move to step 6, and step 6 is presenting the results. So presenting the results, you can now present the results in as a dashboard. You can build a dashboard, an interactive dashboard. You can use Tableau or Power BI to build an interactive dashboard, or you could present the results. Majority of people, the final step will be for you to present the results in a PowerPoint, something like what I'm doing now, because a lot of people, a lot of business people, people that you're presenting your data to, even if you're not even presenting to a business, even if you're just working on a case study and you want to post it on Twitter, not everybody has the time to be going through your A/B testing analysis that you did. Not everybody has time to be going through all the calculations and statistics and mean, mode, and all that you did. Nobody cares. Everybody just wants to see the final result. So you end up having to use maybe a dashboard to just give like a summary so people can see it quickly, or you use PowerPoint. But the idea of you doing a presentation is so that the software that you did to clean the data, to collect it, to ask questions, to analyze, to interpret the results, is so that somebody else doesn't have to do it. As a data analyst, if you work and do all this work, and somebody still is looking at your dashboard and they don't understand it, and you still have to explain and explain and explain and explain and explain, then your work is basically defeated. The idea of you presenting your results at the end of the day is so that somebody that was not there when you did the work would look at it quickly and say, oh, this is what's going on. This makes sense. So next is benefits of data analysis. So I mentioned a few of these when we're talking about why data analysis is important. So the first is increased revenue. Every company likes to make money. So increased revenue is good. With health as well, because not every company works towards making revenue. So with health, what you could have instead of increased revenue is reduced mortality rates. You could have better healthcare services instead. You could have better funding instead. That could also be a benefit, because now you have your data and you can say, okay, this is what we're doing to meet XYZ SDG goals and stuff, and we think the UNICEF should fund us more, or WHO should give us more money and all of that. But because you have your data clear, everybody knows what to do. I think a lot of that happened with COVID. I had to work on a few COVID data for Kaduna State, and basically we're always presenting to the government that this is what is going on with the health sector. This is what we need more. We need more funding here. We need more hand gloves. We need more test strips, whatever those things are called. We need more hands to be working. We need more injections. We need more drugs. We need more drips. We need more beds in the hospital. So without data, some of these things you can see them, obviously, but some you can't see them. Right. So for example, with knowing how bad management is in Nigeria, sometimes the doctor will not know that injection has finished. They wouldn't know that something is missing. All of that. Maybe there's one nurse that is still not the stethoscope in the place. Or even with the admission, you notice that people are getting released quickly. And then you now find out, how far is this nurse just letting people go away just like that, even when they still have COVID, or what is going on? Or are people getting healed better? Same thing with what they said was going to happen in Nigeria, that, or in Africa, COVID is going to be so bad, people are going to be dropping on the floor like flies, da, 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 da. But the data showed us that that didn't really happen in Nigeria. Yes, COVID came and affected people and stuff, but it wasn't as bad as the world was explaining that it was going to be. Then people people are going to be dropping down on the floor and dying and all of that. It wasn't even that bad. See, there are still people in Nigeria that still don't believe that COVID thing happened, because like it was just a regular Tuesday for us besides the lockdown. So these are things you could notice with these are things you could also see as benefits of having data. Then the second is improved decision making. You can make better decisions when you have data. You will not just be walking in the blind when you have data. So you could change things, you could edit things, and all because you have better data. Even websites, the websites you see, a lot of websites you see are designed a specific way. Even the color choices for websites are designed a specific way. So you know, majority of fintechs in Nigeria, Piggyvest and Co, majority of them are purple. There's a reason why. And some of them now are now shifting towards black, just black and white. There's a reason why. Health apps, mental illness apps and stuff. There's a reason why majority of them tilt towards using green. These things, there's a reason behind all of them. There's data and research that has gone behind making all of them. So the third one, identifying trends and patterns, we already said that. Then the fourth one is to mitigate risk and handle setbacks. So a lot of companies during the pandemic, basically, some companies made massive losses, like massive losses, while others made a ton of profit as well. So with data, you can help mitigate this risk and handle setbacks. When things don't go your way, you know what to do. With AI now, the coming of AI, AI was basically with Bard and ChatGPT and different ones coming up. So many companies would have to change. So many companies would have to adapt to what is going on. So now this is where data analysts come in. Okay, what do we need to do to make decisions? And then that's where you start hearing companies are reducing salaries, companies are laying off people, companies are no longer offering a certain product because it's no longer bringing as much profit as it was, like that. So some of these decisions are not easy to make, but they will help mitigate risk and handle setbacks. So careers in data analysis. So who can employ you as a data analyst? So if you're searching LinkedIn, you can easily check data analyst. But data analyst is not the only role you can get in the field of data analysis. There is so much in analysis. So you could be a data analyst, could be a business analyst, business intelligence analyst, product, HR, people analyst, financial growth, marketing, operations research. And all of these are analysts, but their field is different. So a data analyst basically like works with generic data. But then a business analyst or a business intelligence analyst works with data based on a particular business and how to improve that business. A product analyst works with products. So if you want to launch a new product, if you want to rebrand that product, that is what you need a product analyst for. Then there's a HR and people analyst. HR and people analyst basically just works with the employees, finds out if they are doing well, if they're performing well, if their performance they're not meeting their targets, all of that. And there's a financial analyst that helps with the money things and stuff. Growth analyst is somewhat similar to a marketing analyst, but just depends on how big the company is. So basically they're making sure that the company is growing, the marketing is giving what it's supposed to give, all of that. Then operations research analyst is basically like a combination of both like a marketing analyst, a product analyst, and you could add sales as well. So basically they do everything, and this is a bit more advanced. So with data analysis, right, all these different smaller subsets like business analyst, product analyst, and all of that usually depends on how big the company is. So if it's a big company like Google, you can have different kinds of analysts. So for example, I was checking Sony Music, right? And this is like one of like the world's biggest music labels. And I discovered that they were hiring a music analyst, like music analyst, literally. But then that is because that's the kind of company they are. They do music and they need an analyst, so a music analyst, basically. So a company like Google would, because it's so big, they would also need tiny, tiny pieces, right? So they'll need a product analyst, they'll need a growth analyst, they'll need a financial analyst. But if God now blesses you, you're now working in a Nigerian startup where you and the CEO are in the same office, my dear, you do everything. You be the data analyst, you be the business analyst, you be the product analyst, you be the financial analyst, everything, you do everything. Right? And it's not like it's a bad thing. It's just that they can't afford for all those things to be small, 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 small. They don't have the kind of money Google has to make things as really small and as detailed as possible. So now to the interesting part, tools and technologies used in data analysis. Then the biggest baby of them all, or the most popular of them all, is Excel. A lot of companies still use Excel. You'll be shocked the amount of big companies that use Excel. Things are still on spreadsheets. So Excel is still important to this day. Then there's Google Sheets, which is, I wouldn't say the greatest rival, but it is what it is. Then there's SQL, structured query language, which is basically like used to get data from like databases. And SQL is actually one of like the most recommended skill for data analysis. But unfortunately, we wouldn't be taking that because of the short time we have. So we'll be focusing on Excel and Tableau. So the second is Power BI. Power BI is also like a good analytics tool. And Power BI people always like to argue that they are the best thing since sliced bread, but they are not. Tableau is also really good. In my opinion, is the best analytical um software there is. Then there's SPSS. SPSS is basically also like mm, I'm not a fan of SPSS, right? So let's just keep it there. Is basically for statistical tools, people that are into research, people that are also old school, because there's better things than SPSS right now. Then there's Python. Python is my favorite programming language. You could also use it for data analysis, and you could also do deep things with Python, like machine learning, web development, so many things. Python is almost like limitless. Then R is for analysis as well. You could, it's similar to Python, it's also a programming language similar to Python, and is used mostly by people in the field of research. So if you're more industry focused, then Python is for you. If you're more research focused, R is for you. Then we also have different things like but all of these are servers basically I can pull data from. So it's not like you need like super strong knowledge of them. You just need to know how to pull data out of them, and which doesn't take a long time, if we're going to be honest. So finally, I'm leaving you guys with a quote that says, "In God we trust, everyone else bring data." People could be lying, especially one other gender. But I'm not saying anything. I did not call the gender, okay? But in God we trust, everyone else should bring data. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, I'll be taking questions now. So you can chat room quickly.